Hey guys, so I've got something to show you today. It is this. It's a resistance box. This is quite an old one. I'm not sure of the date of it, but it will be around 1970, maybe a little bit before. It's made by H.W. Sullivan, and they stopped trading as H.W. Sullivan in around 1970, so it's going to be before then. It can create a resistance from 0 to 9,999 ohms at various different levels of accuracy. And we're going to take a look. It's got these amazing little thumb wheels on it. So first off, we're going to measure its, accuracy and see how far it is off. Now, I don't have any accurate measuring equipment. All I have is a multimeter, but I imagine it's going to be accurate enough. So we'll take a look, and then we're going to open it up and see what it's like inside. These little thumb wheel things are incredible. I really like them. Okay, so here it is, the Sullivan resistance box. Sullivan in quotes, I'm not sure why. So it says H.W. Sullivan Limited, London, 0 to 9,999 ohms, and it's a type T5000. Now it's got the decades listed here, so we've got the thousands, we've got the hundreds, the tens, and the ones. So ones are only accurate to 5%. Next up is 1% for the tens, 0.2% for the hundreds, and 0.1% for the thousands. So let's turn this into ohms mode. Now I am seeing 0.23 ohms. Let's just see if, is that on there? Some of that is my cables, but some of it is inside the device. So let's give it the benefit of the doubt and just say that 0.23 is my cables, or some of it will be. So let's just try playing around. So these are the ones up to the thousands here. So if I put it onto 1, we've got 1.1. Oh, actually, I suppose we're settling down a bit. We've got around 1 ohm. So that's 5% accurate apparently. So that's pretty good. Now this thing has been sat in a cupboard somewhere for a very long time. So this is 2 ohms apparently, and it's definitely not 2 ohms, and that's more than 5% out. And this is 3. So let's go up to the tens. So this is 90 ohms, actually 87.8, so 88, and it should be 1% accurate. So again, that is slightly out. And there's 8, 7, 6, so that's 60 ohms. But it is slightly out. I didn't expect it to be fully sort of in spec, as it were. And so now we're into the 100 ohms range, and this should be 0.2%. I mean, that's actually pretty good. We're on 692 for, as opposed to 700. So, I mean, it's certainly still usable. You wouldn't want to use it for anything that needed high accuracy. And then the 1000 ohms, so this is 1K. And that's reading quite well actually. So we've got 2K here. That's pretty good. So there are just 4 screws on the top that I can see. On the bottom there's just some feet. So let's try and open this up. It doesn't look like it's been opened before. Well, that is that, I guess. So I've just got a cheap box that it came from. It's marked Eddystone Radio. It smells wonderful. It does really smell quite nice. So what we've got there is we've got our kilo ohm range has got some resistors, and also wire wound resistors. I guess they chose some resistors and then used the wire to bring them closer to the accuracy that they wanted, I guess. But yeah, you can see there that, just make sure you're in focus. So you can see we've got these boards coming off the thumb wheels here. A little ball bearing that jumps in between those. We've got these boards coming off with wire wrapped round. They're coated in something that's kind of a bit disgusting. And so they're wound for accuracy, I imagine. And then we've got these very thick wire leads just here that come to the terminals. You can see just around here, these are the tracks that go onto the board. They're pretty heavily corroded. There's certainly some gunk on them there that doesn't want to easily scrape off. It's kind of a nice little construction. Actually, I wouldn't imagine it is much earlier than 1970 because we've got these sort of plastic thumb wheels. They look kind of new in comparison to other things, but it's certainly a cheap box. So it wasn't a high-end piece of kit, but they did go to the trouble of winding these. I don't know whether it was done by hand or by machine. And you can see this wire, this sort of rubber stuff here holding things away from each other. I'm not quite sure why that's there, except to stop this board touching the other one. So there's not much else to this really. I'll just give you a few close-ups for those of you that like to look at these things. But yeah, thanks. So overall, I think it's still a useful bit of kit. It's something I'll pull out from time to time when I want to have some kind of variable resistor that I can count on and see the values of. But it's a little bit out of spec, I guess, but you can expect that from something that's this old. And it certainly is mid-60s, I imagine, perhaps early 70s.